Welcome aboard, Youngevity Nation. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Thanks so much for tuning in and turning on. We are live today, October 2nd, 2014. Tonight, for insiders and their guests exclusively, another worldwide live health webinar tonight discussing migraines and headaches in general. Headaches in general, migraines specifically. Letting you know everything you didn't know about the pathogenesis of migraines from the holistic perspective and what to do to support and promote your body's ability to have a healthy head without pain. Stuff that is really quite simple, stuff that if everybody knew it, then we'd have, we wouldn't have a runaway healthcare system. Bankruptcy would not be the leading cause of bankruptcy, would not be medical bills, and people wouldn't be getting sicker and sicker and sicker every passing generation, every passing year, every passing month, week, or day. They'd be getting better and better and better and better because your medical doctor hasn't been trained in how to cure your disease. Your medical doctor is not concerned with how to cure your disease. Your medical doctor doesn't believe that your body can, in fact, cure disease. Your medical doctor is trained to mitigate and manage and suppress symptoms with drugs. Now, October is Breast Cancer Month here on the Dr. Glidden Show, Breast Cancer Month. Next Monday, talking about that is Monday, the 6th day of October. This upcoming Monday, we are discussing breast cancer. Breast cancer. This Monday, put it on your calendar. A week from, on the 13th of October, colon cancer. The 20th of October, prostate cancer. And the 27th of October, lung cancer. And we're going to be talking about other types of cancer in between. So stay tuned. Check out the schedule on drglidden.com to stay informed and up to date. And tonight's worldwide health webinar for insiders and their guests only. It's exclusive. It's not a free one. Once a quarter, we roll out a free live health webinar, but tonight it's exclusively for insiders and their guests. So if you haven't become an insider yet, go to the website, drglidden.com, become an insider. For goodness sake, it's $20. $20. You don't like it, you can cancel. We give you a 7-day grace period, for goodness sake. 7-day grace period. You don't like it, we'll give you your money back. Check it out. Become an insider at drglidden.com and gain access not only to tonight's live worldwide webinar, but to hundreds of hours of archived webinars that are available for you for your viewing pleasure immediately. Plus a live 24/7 interactive forum, plus live chat with me 2 hours a week. It does not get any better than that. Check it out, drglidden.com, become an insider. Now, I like to start at the beginning and work my way up. So, since this is Cancer Awareness Month on the Dr. Glidden Show, we're going to take a breath, step back, and just look to see through the correct lens how your MD is trained to understand the phenomenon of cancer, the phenomena of cancer, because cancer is, a hydra, a many-headed hydra, right? Now, your medical doctor is not trained in medicine. Nobody is. Your medical doctor is trained in allopathic medicine. Allopathic medicine. I'm trained in naturopathic medicine, right? There's chiropractic medicine, osteopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, right? Herbalism. Well, your MD isn't trained in medicine. Nobody is. Your MD is trained in allopathic medicine, and allopathic medicine is one piece of the pie of medical science. Allopathic medical philosophy argues that there is no soul because allopathic medical philosophy is built upon the Newtonian physics. And in Newtonian physics, if it can't be measured, it doesn't exist. So since nobody has ever dissected the soul out of a human body, the soul doesn't exist. If you can't see it or measure it, it does not exist. So there is no soul inside the human body. There is no spiritual essence of the human body. The MD and especially the psychiatrists are trained to believe that consciousness itself is a function of biochemistry. And that when the body dies, lights out, consciousness is over. There's no heaven. There's no, post-mortem life. Everything is created by the body, that consciousness itself is a function of biochemistry. This is what they believe. They also believe that the human body is a bag of biochemicals waiting to break, a bottle of biochemicals, if you will, waiting to break. And it's not the MD's job to fix anything. It's the MD's job to manage your symptoms. So, right, you get heartburn, they don't cure it. They manage it. You get high blood pressure, they don't cure it. They manage it. You get arthritis, they don't cure it. They manage it until you need a knee replacement surgery. And when that knee fails, when that titanium knee fails, do they give you a refund? No. You get another titanium knee. And so forth and so on. So, regarding cancer, your MD, being trained in the allopathic reductionistic medical philosophy of life, the universe, and everything, is trained to believe that the tumor is the disease. That the tumor is the disease, and that all of their therapeutics are designed at eliminating, eradicating, removing the tumor. But the tumor, in point of fact, is not the disease. The tumor is the result of the disease. The tumor is the result of the disease. The engine, if you had an automobile engine and it needed 6 quarts of oil or 8 quarts of oil, and you put 2 quarts of oil in the engine and you drove down the road at 60 miles an hour, the engine would seize up because of not enough lubrication. Now, was the seized up engine the disease? No. The seized up engine was the result of the disease. What was the disease in this case? The disease was not enough oil in the engine, right? That's what caused the tumor to form in the first place. That's what caused, in this metaphor, the engine to seize, not enough oil. The engine was fine. It ran out of oil, but the MD looks at this askew because of their grounding in allopathic reductionistic medical philosophy. So to the MD, the tumor is everything. The MD isn't by and large concerned with what causes the tumor to happen. They don't really even cognize that, which is represented in the research which is done around cancer. So if you're an MD and you're going to research breast cancer, for instance, here's what you do. You get 1,000 laboratory mice, and you genetically manipulate the mice so that they all get breast cancer because you have inserted a mutated gene into their genome, and now all of these mice have the mutated breast cancer gene, and all of the mice have breast cancer. So then they'll employ different therapeutics, the intention of which is to eliminate the tumor. The intention of which is to eliminate the tumor, because to the MD, the tumor is everything. The tumor is the disease. It didn't matter how the tumor formed. The tumor itself is the disease, so we have to zap it with the gamma ray. We have to burn it out with chemotherapy, or we have to surgically remove it, right? The intention of the therapeutic ideation is to eliminate the tumor. They do not care what caused it to happen in the first place. What the heck did they do? They genetically manipulated. They made a mutated cancer gene and they inserted it into the mouse in order to cause cancer, in order to figure out a way to fix the cancer. Isn't that a little silly? Well, here's a good way to fix the cancer. Don't mutate the gene in the first place. But this is not how they think. And this is why this show used to be called Fire Your MD. Now, it's not because we have a vendetta or an axe to grind, but because they are trained in a philosophical interpretation, a philosophical understanding of the human body, which is completely wrong. It's not even close to being right. And by the way, every dog needs his due. Reductionistic medicine, the type of medicine that the MD is trained in, reductionism, is really pretty good for pulling bullets out of arms, for removing infected organs. right? That is the epitome of reductionism. Oh, son of a gun, I've got a bullet in my arm, heaven forbid. Well, go to the reductionist for that. Don't come to me for that. I'm the wrong dog for that hunt. But surgery is the wheelhouse of the allopathically trained, reductionistically oriented MD. Surgery, trauma care, right? They'll keep you alive in the ambulance. They'll keep you alive after 6 heart attacks. They will. But they have no idea what causes the heart attack in the first place. But they can keep you alive through heroic intervention. So, they have a place in the world, and their place in the world is with trauma care and surgery when it's necessary. Often surgery isn't necessary. But the MD, only knowing the surgical method, will tell you that surgery is the only way. And this is the problem. And this exists as a problem because the medical market is monopolized and we do not have a free market. If we had a free market, people would have a choice. Well, I can go to the orthopedic surgeon and get a titanium knee, or I can go to the naturopathic physician and attempt to support and promote the growth of healthy cartilage in my knee. Oh, I think I'm going to do that before I go under the knife. But let's be honest, my profession is only licensed in 18 states in the United States. Most people don't even know how to pronounce naturopathy, let alone know what it is. And everybody in this country has drunk the Kool-Aid that the MD is the undisputed God of medicine, that MD stands for medical deity. And everybody else is a back-of-the-bus alternative quack. The chiropractors, the naturopaths, the herbalists, the homeopaths, the acupuncturists, Ayurvedic medicine, the oldest system of medicine on planet Earth. Oh, no, that's quackery. Well, guess what? It's not. From the proper perspective, everything makes sense. Your MD, in attempting to understand how to fix cancer, is not trained how to fix cancer. Your MD is trained how to remove the tumor. And so when they are successful at removing the tumor, guess what happens? It comes back. And I'm the quack. Ladies and gentlemen, knowledge is power. Stay tuned. So very much more to come. I am Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Welcome to the Dr. Glidden Show. Seems like Mission Impossible, doesn't it? Often it does. But, that's only because you don't know what you don't know. And that's why I'm doing the webinar that I'm doing tonight about migraines and headaches in general. Because people suffer needlessly, and there are simple steps, simple solutions, simple things that people can do in order to support and promote healthy heads without pain. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's really pretty straightforward stuff. It's quite mind-boggling to me that more people don't know about this. You know what it's like to be a naturopathic doctor? It's kind of like walking through a world where you're the only one that knows how to start fire. You're the only one. Everybody else has no idea how to start fire. So other people wait for the lightning storm to hit the tree, make the tree burst into flames, and then they run out to the tree. They grab the broken down limbs, the burst limbs that are in flames, and then they tend the flames diligently for the rest of their lives. So don't let the fire go out. Meanwhile, the naturopaths figured out the magnifying glass and the piece of paper and the flint and the steel, and it's easy. Simple things that you can do make a gigantic difference. Well, welcome to my life. This is why I've created my insider subscription. And that's why I did it. Because there's only one of me, and there's hundreds of millions of sick and suffering people, hundreds of millions. And we've been brainwashed into believing that, not only is the MD the only person worthy of going to with any medical question whatsoever, that they really are the only ones that practice medicine, right? Everybody else practices alternative medicine. Well, baloney. That's like saying the only dog that's a real dog is a German Shepherd and all other dogs are alternative dogs. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. So, we've been hoodwinked into believing that the MD has the secret decoder ring to all things medical, and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack with substandard dangerous training. Baloney. Quite frankly, the only people selling snake oil around the world have MD after their name, and that's a fact. Jack. We've also been brainwashed, culturally conditioned to believe that healing is a complicated, sophisticated process that can only happen with virally replicated vaccines in multi-million-dollar high-tech facilities where all the latest technology is brought to bear. Half man, half machine. It's the Borg all over again. Resistance is futile. Well, I don't think so. Surgery is complicated. Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. And this is our basic supposition. Your body has a spiritual force inside of it. I don't care which religious persuasion you espouse. Your body has a spiritual force inside of it, and that spiritual force lends to your body-mind all of the intelligence necessary to regulate everything. Your body is so smart it grew itself, all by itself, from a single-celled organism into you. Now, you think if your body knew how to do that, it knows how to maintain its health? Do you think it does? Well, every holistic physician in the world argues yes. So it is the holistic physician's job to advise you about how to do that. How do we support the body's ability to optimize its structure and function? Well, the acupuncturists do it one way, the homeopaths do it another way, the herbalists do it another way. Everybody does it their own way, and every single solitary holistic persuasion, medical field of thought in the world leans heavily on individualized treatment. Now, there's no such thing as generic acupuncture. There's no such thing as generic herbalism. There's no such thing as generic chiropractic, right? You have to see the physician. You have to get the treatment, but with nutrition, it's different. And this is why this is so very important. This is why what we do here is so very important, because this is the next best thing, the next biggest thing. In medicine, they invented the sterile technique and they discovered germs, and that was a big, gigantic turning point. Well, this is another one. The simple notion that science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition for the masses, boom. Y'all need to drink purified water. Everybody needs to have public sanitation. We all need a certain amount of clean calories every day. And, well, there's one more thing we need to do. Fill the body's nutritional tank up with the right recipes appropriate for the body weight. Give your body every day the raw materials it needs to optimize its structure and function. It's boilerplate foundation medical nutrition for the masses. You don't need a doctor's appointment. You just need a little bit of education, and it's waiting for you right now. DrGlidden.com, become an insider. For goodness sakes, if you don't like it, I'll give you all your money back in 7 days. Now, is that a good idea? Risk-free, baby. That's how we roll. Stick around. Let's go to the phones, why don't we, and talk to South Carolina. Alvin is up first. Hey, Alvin, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, this is Alvin from South Carolina.
Thanks for calling, Alvin. What's up?
I have just last week was diagnosed with prostate cancer and wanted to know what's your advice. I've been taking the Healthy Start, but that's the only thing that, I've gotten the Cell Shield, but I wanted to know how much I need to take and what do I need to do concerning this.
Well, you need to educate yourself first. Are you going to do conventional medical treatment?
No, I'm not.
You're not. Okay, good. So you want to do a Google search for prostate cancer watchful waiting, prostate cancer therapeutic, because in Europe, in the European Union countries, they are, like, I forget the percentage, but it's a remarkable percentage, like 70-something percent, 80-something percent less likely to operate or do anything at all invasively for prostate cancer than we are here in the United States. In the United States, even if there's an inkling of prostate trouble, the PSA is elevated by 3 points or whatever, they go crazy, they grab the knives, they grab the scalpels, they grab the Gamma knife, and they just want to cut and burn like crazy here in the U.S. And the statistics are in that when you compare what we do here in the United States with prostate cancer and just doing nothing, that we get more or less the same results. There might even be better results with watchful waiting. So you need to just educate yourself that these things are happening around the world, because otherwise you're going to wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to freak yourself out, and you're going to let the MDs enroll you into their Machiavellian treatments because you're afraid. Also, I would like you please to get a copy of my book. It's free. Go to freedoctorbook.com, freedoctorbook.com, and get my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. It's free. You can download it to your computer in 10 seconds. In my book, I have a chapter on cancer, and in my chapter on cancer, there are 10 questions that you and every other cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist in the presence of a witness and a recording device. So if you really want to take the weight off of your psyche and make yourself be able to sleep more comfortably at night, knowing that in fact you've made the right choice, go to the MD oncologist with a friend and a recording device and politely ask your MD the 10 questions that are in my chapter on cancer. And by listening to their answers, you will be able to know whether or not their treatments are worthwhile and a good thing or stupid and a bad thing. You'll know. The problem here is that nobody ever asks their oncologist these questions. You're lucky. You have a strong character, apparently, Alvin, because you just refused the treatment outright, and I can applaud that. In my opinion, that was, in fact, the right thing to do. But it might perhaps be better for you to understand why. And you'll know why if you can get an oncologist to answer these 10 questions. And you just ask them politely and listen to what they have to say, okay? So that's one thing. You just need to educate yourself is what I'm saying. You need to, we're walking down the road here, and we need to know where the wolves are, right? Are they on the right side of the road? Are they on the left side of the road? Are they 100 feet ahead of us? Are they 3 miles ahead of us? Where's the potholes, right? Where's the good water? Where's the bad water? We need to know the territory that we're in. And I'm telling you, if everybody in the world, starting today, asked their oncologist these 10 questions, cancer treatments would drop off by over 90% overnight. Because people just don't understand what they're getting themselves into. And the MDs don't want them to understand what they're getting themselves into. And it's a crying shame, but, it's good to be king. And when you're the head of the medical monopoly, you can do whatever the hell you want and get away with it. So it's illegal to treat cancer in the United States unless you're an oncologist. It's illegal. They throw people in jail for it. So I can't give you professional advice about how to treat cancer. I could in a state in which I was licensed to practice medicine and where my scope of practice allowed me to treat cancer. I could. I think there are 3 states like that in the entire U.S. But in the context of this radio program, in the context of longevity, in the context of medical nutrition for the masses, we don't treat cancer. We don't treat disease. We don't treat a darn thing. What we do is recommend people get on board with science-based, clinically verified therapeutics, the intention of which are to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function. So, in order to get that job done with the prostate, to optimize the structure and function of the prostate, the recommendation would be, how much do you weigh?
148.
All right. Now, here's what I would do in descending order of importance. You got to stop eating the 10 bad foods, Alvin. You got to stop it immediately. You can get that list for free on my website, or just talk to the person who told you about this program. Stop eating the 10 bad foods. It's also in my book, by the way, and that's free. Stop eating the 10 bad foods, number 1. If you don't do that, you might as well just start digging a grave right now, because the therapeutics that I recommend are going to be ineffective, or going to be of little effectiveness, right? It'll be 3 steps forward, 2.5 steps back. Clean up your diet, please. Number 1. Number 2, at 140 pounds, the recommendation to optimize your endocrine system function would be 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid per month. 1 of those per month. 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals per month. 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals per month. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium per month. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium per month. 2 bottles of Prost FX, P like Peter, R-O, S like Sam, T like Thomas, Prost FX. 2 of those a month. And last but not least, actually, this should be number 1 on the list. Z Radical. Z like zebra, radical. As much as you can afford. If you can afford 1 bottle of Z Radical a day, do it. If you can afford 1 bottle of Z Radical every other day, every 3 days, every 4 days, once a week, do it. Get as much Z Radical as is in your budget. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Take those other supplements. And it may be prudent for you to make a list. Get a legal pad, and on the left-hand side of the legal pad, write down everything that bothers you about your body-mind, right? Whatever it is. Things that are chronically bothersome. Oh, I wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, it's hard to fall asleep. Oh, I have heartburn. Oh, my left knee hurts. Whatever. Just make a list, right?
Okay.
And every 7 days, you check in with that list and give each symptom a score from 0 to 10. 0 being it's completely gone, and 10 being it's so bad I want someone to take me out back and shoot me in the head, okay? 0 to 10. And score each of your symptoms every week. Because remember, what we talk about here in the context of this program is comprehensive holistic nutrition. And, that's more than just a fancy schmancy 21st century name. Holistic medicine argues that everything in the body is connected. So, if your body has been stressed so much that it has cancer somewhere in the body, guaranteed you have a whole host of other symptoms that you've been dealing with for a while that you just thought were part of life, whatever. So, one way that we can kind of judge the effectiveness of a holistic program, regardless of what we're focusing on, is by doing this symptom inventory. So as you go down the road, what we expect to see is general improvement across the board. Oh, I'm sleeping better. Oh, that pain in my knee, it's better. It used to be a 9 out of a 10. Now it's a 5 out of a 10, whatever. And by giving each of your symptoms a numerical grade every week, it will give you inspiration and hope to lean on the medical nutrition intervention. Now, look, man, if you do what I tell you to for 90 days, 3 months in a row, and ain't nothing changed, there's been 0 positive change anywhere, quite frankly, honestly, man, at your body weight, if there's been 0 positive change after 4 weeks, you want to call me back because the program needs to be tweaked. But so this is, we are expecting, anticipating, and looking for specific and measurable positive change. And once we get it, right, once something improves dramatically, man, we just ride that horse and we just take the stuff every day, keep doing it. We keep our fingers crossed. But in the meantime, so you don't freak out in the middle of the night and come under the voodoo control of the MD fear-based, small-minded nonsense, it perhaps would be a good idea for you to educate yourself about how they deal with prostate cancer in Europe. And then, you might want to just man up, get a buddy, dress him in a dark suit, put dark glasses on him, put one of those ear things in his ear, put a recording device on the desk and sit down, ask your MD these 10 questions politely with your friend standing in back of you with his arms crossed, staring the oncologist down. Videotape that one, put it up on YouTube, and you will be an overnight sensation. Alvin, you're awesome. I got to move on. We have a full board. I appreciate you very much. That's how we do it, folks. We're polite, and we just ask questions, reasonable questions. Doctor, I have prostate cancer. Is your treatment going to cure my cancer? Is that a good question to ask? I think it is. It's a good place to start. Let's go to South Carolina, where the air is finer, and talk to Rosemary. Hey, Rosemary, thanks for the call. You were live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden. Thank you so much for all you do for us. We really, really appreciate you. I have a situation with my dad. He's 90 years old. He weighs 158 pounds. He had asthma for years and years and years and years and years, so bad that it was just extremely horrible. And they finally put him on this thing called Xolair. He was on that every 2 weeks for 2.5 years. Found out later it was chemotherapy.
Yikes.
That's totally gone. He was shaking. His hands shook all the time. He'd walk down the hall, and you could hear the plate and the cup rattle as he walked down the hall, or even from the table to the sink. That's gone.
Whoa. Wait a minute. I'm confused. So your dad, who's 90 years old, was suffering with all of this stuff for a long time, was on all these nasty drugs, and nothing was getting better. And
right.
Then did you put him on longevity?
Yes, he was also constipated for 90 years. He had eczema severely bad. He fractured his back January the 2nd. That's all healed up. His blood pressure was horrible, and he had a body rash that they didn't know what to do with. I put him on longevity March the 22nd. He's been on 6 months. Everything is totally, completely gone, and it was amazing how fast it went away. He had a Xolair shot the 1st of March. When I put him on the longevity, he never had to have another one, so he's not had another one since he started on this stuff.
Hey, Rosemary, you're awesome. Stick around, please. I want to hear more about this. This is a hard break, and I have no control. You stick around. I'll bring you right back up after the commercial break. More to come, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it gets good. Stick around. So, the only reason that my profession continues to exist in such a hostile political climate, I mean, think about it. I graduated from a fully accredited university where I did pre-med, the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. Graduated from a fully accredited naturopathic medical school where after which I became licensed to practice medicine. I've been licensed to practice naturopathic medicine since 1992. And even though I did all of the education and passed all of the boards and passed all of the exams and have a license to practice medicine, I'm disallowed from practicing medicine in 34 states in the United States. Now, that's just not right. That is an oppressive political climate, and in such an oppressive political climate, you would not expect naturopathic medicine to be on the ascendancy. You would not expect it to be increasing in popularity, but it is. Why is it increasing in popularity? Because it works. You want proof? Let's talk to Rosemary from South Carolina. Rosemary, are you still with me?
Yes.
All right. So your father, who's in his 90s, suffered from asthma, high blood pressure, eczema all of his life. And you put him on longevity in March. That's March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 7, yeah. All right. So It's all gone. It's all gone.
Yeah. All that's gone. Now, I have one thing that we need a cure for. I'm not sure what to do for him. He actually has, it's almost like a TIA. That's what they tell me. But they can't prove that. So he actually will go for days and not sleep. He'll see things and just out of it, and he can't focus. And then he'll sleep for days. And it's almost like he's in a brain fog. And I've got him on, I can tell you what I have him on, if you want me to.
Yeah, has he stopped eating all 10 bad foods?
Yes.
Good girl. All right, what do you have him on? How much does he weigh and what do you have him on?
158.
Okay.
I have him on colloidal silver. I put that in his OsteoFX liquid. He gets 3 to 5 chocolates a day. He's on the CEO Mega Pack, all of those things in the CEO Mega Pack, everything.
Yep.
He also gets Cherry Mins. He gets Z-Radical. He gets OsteoFX. He gets Ultimate Daily. He gets Immortalium, the D-Stress, Cell Shield RTQ, Fucoid Z, Smart FX. And I just found on one of your webinars I was watching to put him on Mackie FX, so I just started that yesterday. And he gets Drops of Balance. He's also on Oxybody. And yesterday I started him on the Quanta Water. And I'm just at a loss because even today when he got up, he was just like not there. He'll be sitting at the table, and I have to remind him, Dad, you got food in your mouth, chew.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. So okay. You can stop the Cell Shield RTQ.
Okay.
All right. He's taking too much stuff. You can stop the Cell Shield RTQ.
Okay.
And you can stop. It's coming to me. Is he on selenium?
Yes, sir. You said that was important.
Okay, so what I would do as an experiment for 1 month, 4 weeks in a row, I'd give him 2 capsules. In addition to what he's taking, I would give him 2 capsules of the D-Stress twice a day. 2 caps of the D-Stress twice a day. and I would have him eat 4 to 6 eggs a day.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. He's eaten anywhere from 4 to 12.
How do you cook them?
I soft boil, soft scramble, very soft, almost raw.
With butter and
butter,
salt?
of course, butter. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's entirely possible that he just needs more time on the program. I mean, that's entirely possible. You can't expect Rome to be built in a day. Now, the fact that all that other stuff has gotten better is very, very encouraging and very promising. So my advice to you is just maintain the discipline for 6 more months, because what else are you going to do? And often what I've seen in cases like this, especially with people who are very elderly when they start the program, is, 7, 8, or 9 months into the program, and I'm making numbers up, it's like somebody flipped a switch and all of a sudden they're back in there with you. So I really believe the only thing here to do, try the de-stress for 4 weeks. Other than that, just maintain the discipline and keep your fingers crossed. All signs are good, Rosemary. Hey, hour number 2. Vida Blue. Remember Vida Blue? Wasn't he a pitcher for the Oakland Athletics? Maybe not the Oakland Athletics. I'm dating myself here. Let's go to California and talk to Karen. Hey, Karen, thanks for the call. You are live.
Thank you for taking my call. I just recently started with my CEO pack, taking the 2.0 tangerine and as well as selenium and the oils, the essential fatty acids. And it's the first time, I'm not sure if I would have caught a cold a couple days ago, but instead I have swollen upper roof of my mouth, and it's painful, and I also have a headache. And I'm thinking maybe I was supposed to get a cold, but I got these symptoms instead because I've been feeling very healthy for the last 3 months.
You mean since starting the program?
It's a very low-grade complaint. It's a low-grade complaint, but it's wiping me out also.
Yeah. Well, does anybody else in your world, suffering from the same thing or something similar, or is there a head cold?
No, I've been asking people, has anybody had, it feels like canker sores at first, but it's just kind of swollen gums on the top of my mouth, and I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah,
Anybody else has had any complaints?
Yeah, ever had any other allergic reaction to anything in your life ever?
Yes, I used to have Candida albicans, and I went, with the holistic naturopathic journey and learned that my body healed itself and was able to adjust everything through diet. So
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bet you 25 cents that this is a reaction to too concentrated a dose too quickly of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So How do you take that? When you take that every day, how do you do it?
I take the powder, put it in my mouth, and wash it down with water.
Whoa, that is absolutely, positively the wrong way to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. So, it's kind of like, holy smokes, what would be a good metaphor? I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But it's too concentrated a dose too quickly. So now, so this is kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because with nutritional supplementation, it's the recipe that's the thing. It's the recipe that's the determining factor. It's like, it's like wine. All wine is made from grapes, but there's a great deal of difference from bottle to bottle because of all of these variables. It's all about the recipe, right? So It's the same with nutritional supplements. Now, Dr. Wallach's recipes are the best recipes I've ever seen. That's why I'm such a cheerleader for longevity. Wallach's stuff produces more consistent results than anything I've ever seen, and I've been doing this clinically for 25 years. For goodness sake, I used to be a representative at medical conferences for a vitamin company that only sold to doctors. So I have a little bit of insider information about how the nutritional supplement industry works. And I have access to supplements you can only get as a physician. You can't get that stuff over the counter, and Wallach stuff is better. But that's a good thing. Well, why is it better? Because of the recipe. But the deal here is that the recipe lends itself to, it's strong, right? It's a strong, concentrated highly absorbable nutraceutical supplement. And you can overdo it. You can take it too quickly. And if you do, it will kind of overwhelm your system and then in the process cause side effects. So the recommendation here would be to put one of those packets, those little on-the-go packets, right? One of those packets in 16 ounces of water. How much do you weigh?
121.5.
Okay, so I would do one of those packets in 16 ounces of water twice a day. But here's the kick. You have to take at least 1 hour to drink it down. Or here's another thing you could do. Put 2 packets into at least 32 ounces of water in a bottle, carry it around all day with you, and sip from it all day long. That's what I do. I mean, if you're watching the video stream, I'm drinking some right now. But if you just throw it down the hatch too quickly, I mean, even if you were to put it in water and just chug it down, that would be too much too quickly, even though it was diluted with water. And pouring the crystals in your mouth, it's absolutely positively the wrong way to do it. And quite frankly, I'm surprised that this hasn't happened to you sooner. But I'm telling you, man, when you dial this in correctly, right, and give the supplements to your body in kind of a user-friendly way, you get even better results than you're getting now, because it's just your body likes it better, and everybody, your cells are happier and everything works better.
Awesome.
So,
well, and I really appreciate your feedback, because in my head I was thinking that if they were in a capsule, I would just put them in. I used to take capsulized things. So I was thinking the closest to a capsule is just pouring it in my mouth, and then I'll just drink it down with water. So I totally had a crazy thought. So
I mean, that's life.
That around.
Yeah, that's life, and we all move from where we are. And so just FYI, in kind of the absorbability breakdown of nutritional supplements, liquids are by far the most absorbable. A liquid supplement is by far the most absorbable. The next most absorbable is a gelatin capsule, one of those gel caps that you can take apart, Yes. Mm-hmm. That's the next most absorbable. The next most absorbable is a hard-pressed tablet. And the least absorbable is a hard-pressed tablet that has a shellac coating on it, like Centrum Silver, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, I had a patient who had a brother-in-law, I think, or somebody in his family was in Florida, and the brother-in-law owned a porta-potty business. And this guy came to see me for a private consultation, and I was telling him about the difference between over-the-counter supplements and other, doctor-directed supplements, and it was all about the absorbability because of the manufacturing process. And I told him what I just told you about the absorbability index, that Centrum Silvers are like the hardest for anybody to absorb, or facsimiles to that, a hard-pressed tablet with a shellac coating. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me and he said, I can't believe you just said that, because, I got this brother-in-law who has a porta-potty business in Florida. And in Florida, of course, the majority of people, or at least in this neck of the woods, they're all elderly people. And the elderly people can't digest anything anyway. Mm-hmm. He said they've gotten into the habit of calling the porta potties vitamin machines, because when they go to empty them, they're loaded with Centrum Silvers. Because elderly people who can't digest anything anyway, they take a hard-pressed tablet with a shellac coating on it, they swallow it, they don't absorb it, they poop it right out, they don't even know that they're doing it. They're not getting anything from the vitamin at all. Mm-hmm. So, absorbability in the world of nutritional supplementation is, in fact, a big deal. Second only to the recipe, and Youngevity has both of those locked. Youngevity not only has the most excellent recipes I've ever seen, but they also have formulations which, when properly applied, are extremely absorbable. And you put those two things together, and that's why people who take Youngevity supplements feel better as opposed to people who take over-the-counter supplements and don't. And this is worthy of speaking about just for a minute. Last year, I think the number was $50 billion, of sales of vitamins in the United States. A lot of money, man. And everybody's still sick. Well, why is that? Well, because of this phenomenon. People are taking inferior supplements. They're not absorbing them. They're not taking enough of them. And, everybody doesn't know how to do nutritional supplementation. And this is a key point here, and this is why Youngevity is such a game changer in the industry. Because when in point of fact you do take the right recipes in the right dosages, in the right schedules every day, you get better. And, this is a game changer here, and this is why we're going to change the world, because Youngevity works. And this is what we lean on it. I can talk biochemistry until I'm blue in the face, but really what it all boils down to is the stuff going to make me feel better? Is it going to work or not? Well, as you've already seen for yourself, even taking stuff not exactly the right way, you felt better, and you're going to continue to feel better in a remarkable way when you dial in the appropriate delivery schedule. And life is going to get very good for you, Karen, in California. Keep up the good work.
Okay. Thanks very much, Dr. Glidden.
All right. It's my pleasure, Karen. Welcome to Youngevity. Oh, my God. Canada is calling. Oh, Canada. That's all I know. Let's go up and talk to Larry. Hey, Larry. What's happening?
Well, never thought I'd get to you, but I've got you.
Here you are.
Anyway, the question I've got for you. I've been kind of laid back on the job, I would say, for the last...
I never would have guessed.
just about 2 years.
Yeah.
But this past summer, I totally hit rock bottom. And I figured, well, I have to start checking things out. And I don't like drugs. I fired my MD like years ago. Should I have done that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, positively. MDs are great at surgery. They're great at trauma care. If you have like tuberculosis or, a nasty lung infection, then they can usually help you with that stuff. But for stuff like this, low energy, brain fog, arthritis, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, honestly, for most of the things that most people go to the doctor for most of the time, the MD is absolutely positively the wrong dog for the hunt. So you did the right thing by not going to them. I mean, if you were driving through South Chicago and you were the victim of a drive-by shooting and you had a bullet in your arm, you would not go and see a chiropractor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it might have happened right outside a chiropractor's office. Now, the chiropractor's a licensed physician, but that's not their thing. Well, as it turns out, chronic disease, regretfully, is not the thing for the MD, but we don't know this because they've monopolized the medical marketplace for so long. So we suffer needlessly because we just take the wrong dog to the hunt. Stick around with me, Larry. I'll bring you back after the break. All right. Canada's with us. I love Canada. Canada's awesome. Maybe in my next life I'll be a Canadian. Let's go back and talk to Larry. Larry, are you still with me?
Yes.
All right. So, Larry, how tall are you and how much do you weigh?
I am 6'2" and I weigh 160 pounds.
Okay, that's pretty good. And what are your chief complaints? I mean, have the MDs given you any type of diagnosis, or do you have asthma or high blood pressure, or
I haven't gotten an opinion from an MS.
So how do you? All right. So what's your chief complaint like? What are the top 3 things that bother you in your day-to-day life?
My top complaint is low energy. Anyway, let's go back to where I had started here. So
Well,
I went to visit a few naturopaths. And they doing studies. They were all coming back to heavy metals. I had 10 to 11 amalgam dental fillings.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them said, you are suffering mercury poisoning.
Mercury poisoning, huh? Yeah.
So my next move was these teeth have to come out, and I'll get dentures. So that's what happened. I've got dentures now.
Yikes. How long ago did you get the dentures put in?
5 months.
You feel any different post-denture?
No. Pulling my teeth sunk me deeper into the hole.
Yeah, I would have advised you not to have that done. I was one of the first naturopathic physicians in the world to do heavy metal chelation in a clinical setting. I was one of the first people to do it. This was 20 years ago. I don't do it anymore because it's not effective, and quite frankly, it causes more trouble than it prevents. It's an inferior therapeutic. And interestingly enough, the people that brought that therapeutic to the fore of naturopathic medicine were MDs, trying to run around in the holistic pasture of which they have no understanding whatsoever, and they screwed it up.
Yeah, so if I would have kept those amalgam fillings in my mouth, which are manufactured of silver and mercury, where would that mercury have stayed if I would have kept it in my mouth?
Well, the mercury off-gassed years ago. I mean, it's kind of like, if you have a bottle of Coca-Cola and you pop the top on it and you just leave it on the countertop for a week. Yeah. I mean, after a certain amount of time, there's no more bubbles in it, right? It's gone flat.
So you're saying mercury gasses off and then it's neutral?
Yeah, it's not there anymore. And I don't know how long it takes for that to happen, but it's not there anymore. Now, you can make the argument, and some people do, that when the mercury off gases, you inhale it, and it goes into your body, enters into the cells, and it sits there for a very, very long time, interfering with cellular metabolism.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, selenium supplementation with the trace mineral selenium chelates organic mercury out of the body. So that's a much better, easier, smarter way to do it, is just to take selenium supplementation over a long term. I take selenium every day. I'm taking some right now. And then that's going to take care of it. But look, you don't get, there's a saying in medicine, and I only have a minute left here, Larry, so I have to speed this up, okay? So
we won't make it in a minute.
Yeah, we will. There's a saying, and I have a full board of calls here. So there's a saying in medicine that when you hear hoofbeats, you think about horses before you think about zebras. The very first thing to consider with anybody suffering from chronic conditions, especially if the lion's share of those conditions is lack of energy, lack of drive, lack of focus, is chronic nutrient deficiencies with an emphasis on minerals. So the first thing for you to do for 90 days, in my opinion, at your body weight, would be 2 Healthy Start Pack 2.0 liquid. That's the name of the product. It's called the Healthy Start Pack 2.0 liquid. You need 2 of those a month. 2 of those a month. 2 Healthy Start Pack liquids a month. 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals a month. And 4 bottles of selenium a month. That's 4 selenium, 2 plant-derived minerals, and 2 Healthy Start Pack 2.0 liquids per month for 90 days, 3 months, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. Do that. Call me back every 4 weeks with a status report, and I'll look forward to it. And by the way, did you know that the liver can grow itself back? Yeah, it's the only organ that can do it. Your skin can't even do that. Dr. Wallach years ago was treating a woman at Harvard University. Her name was Elaine. She had a big bad voodoo daddy liver illness called sclerosing cholangitis. Her liver was effectively shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and every couple of months the MDs would go in and they'd put stents into the arteries and the veins in her liver so she wouldn't get gangrene, to kind of try to keep some circulation happening there. So she's in the hospital after 20-something surgeries on the liver transplant wrist, right? Her liver's the size of an Oreo cookie, tiny. And her husband hears Dr. Wallach on the radio. Her husband starts his wife on the longevity protocol for, liver support. while she's in the hospital, in intensive care on a liver transplant list. A couple of weeks on the program, the nutritional program, she's stabilized and can leave the hospital. Within a couple of months, the liver completely grew back. And that's the power of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Let's go to New Mexico and talk to Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I'm calling you back today. You were wanting to know the blood pressure readings that my sister-in-law talked to you about yesterday.
Oh, yeah. What's the deal?
Okay, when she was taken to the hospital emergency room, it was 215 over 140.
All right, that's high.
And then yesterday, it was 156 over 78.
Okay, so now she's borderline hypertensive, but I'm assuming that's with medication, right?
Yes, and they've also put her on Plavix for 1 year and aspirin for life.
Well, both of which are ridiculous treatments, not supported by the literature. But of course, right, when you're the king, you can do whatever you want. And then, by the way, there's something called off-label prescribing, which is, an MD will prescribe a high blood pressure medication to help somebody sleep or whatever, because in their clinical experience, they've found that it's effective to help people sleep, even though it hasn't been double-blinded, it hasn't been clinically proven. It's called off-label prescribing. MDs do it all of the time. It's really hard to statistically analyze how much that happens, but conservative estimates are it happens more than 40% of the time. Liberal estimates are that it happens more than 70% of the time, off-label prescribing. So, the MDs, they're all about double-blind this and science-based that, and let's do controlled studies, except when they don't want to do that, then it's okay for them to do it and, do off-label prescribing, whatever. And, nobody calls them on it. Nobody holds their feet to the fire because, they're the almighty MD. So remember, from my point of view, 140 over 90 is the high level of normal blood pressure, the high level of normal blood pressure. And in order for someone to need a blood pressure intervention, their numbers need to be above 140 over 90, 3 readings in a row. Both numbers must be elevated 3 readings in a row. So this is her baseline now, her medicated baseline, 156 over 78. So the recommendation holds that I talked about yesterday.
Okay.
She has to take her blood pressure twice a day at the same time every day and write the numbers down. Don't just record them into the computer of the machine. Write them down on a piece of paper with a date, right, and a time, so that she can see the visual trend. And when the numbers start to reduce, right, so it's 156 over 78 now, a week from now it might be 150 over 75, and then 2 weeks from now it might be 145 over 72, and a month from now it might be 135 over 60, whatever. When she sees a downward trend, which is consistent, after she started the medical nutrition program, then she goes back to the MD and has them withdraw her from the blood pressure meds, and then just continue to take the blood pressure numbers every day. And this is how we do it. We measure the stuff all of the time, and then as the numbers get better, we reduce the prescription meds while we maintain the discipline with the medical nutrition, and then life is good. Because remember, our goal here is a goal which is completely outside of the ideation of the MD. Our goal, which the MDs don't even think about, I mean, it is so far outside of their wheelhouse, they do not even think about this. Don't think it's possible. Our goal is to get people so healthy that they don't need to take prescription meds. She doesn't have high blood pressure because she has a high blood pressure medication deficiency, right? But the MDs believe that. The MDs are not concerned with the genesis of the blood pressure condition and what causes it, because as far as they're concerned, the human body is a biochemical bag waiting to break. And once it does break, it can't be unbroken. And the patient's only option is to not cure the condition by getting to the root of the problem and fixing it, but to manage the symptoms for the rest of their lives with drugs. Now, interestingly, with high blood pressure, what happens invariably is someone has high blood pressure because they have calcium and magnesium deficiencies, let's say. So they'll go to an MD. Yeah, they've got high blood pressure. It's definitive. And the MD puts them on a blood pressure medication. The blood pressure medication reduces their blood pressure to normal levels or acceptable levels. But how does the blood pressure medication work? Well, the blood pressure medication works by manipulating biochemical pathways in the body, all of which are made from vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids and nutrients. So the longer that you're on the medication, the less nutrients you have because the medication burns through your nutrients. So, 6 months on a blood pressure medication, it stops working. You go back to the doctor and they increase the dose. Or they add another blood pressure medication, or a third or a fourth. And this is what happens almost 100% of the time. The longer that people are on blood pressure medications, the less effective they are, and then the doctors start just throwing stuff against the wall to see what'll stick. And you telling me that you really think that the geniuses in the pharmaceutical industry, and those people are smart, by the way. You think that they don't know this? You think that they don't know the relationship between minerals and the action of prescription medications? You think they don't know this? They know this. And, in a sane humanistic world, not driven by pharmaceutical money, it would be mandatory for the drug companies to put vitamins and minerals in the drugs to make the drugs work better. So people would need less drugs, but that's not a good idea financially, so they don't do it, and, we suffer and die. So that's the long and the short of it. That was high blood pressure. Now remember, right, that, every dog has his day, and the wheelhouse of the MDs is heroic trauma care and surgery when it's necessary. Good friend of mine, the commander, Mark Denning, who's a retired veteran of the Army. He's a registered nurse. His job is he's the guy in the back of the ambulance keeping people alive when they're being rushed to the hospital for trauma care. So, that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. But now that she hasn't died of a heart attack, which is a good thing, we need to figure out what the heck is causing all of this stuff to begin with and try to support the body in its attempt to fix that. And the MDs are never, ever going to do that. And so now we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. But, she has you. And that's kind of like the ace up her sleeve is your existence in her life. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, Kathy.
Pass this along.
All right. Appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate the trust. Appreciate the ear. Appreciate the call in. North Kakalaki is up next. North Carolina. Which is better, ladies and gentlemen, North Carolina or South Carolina? I think Jason's going to say North Carolina. Hey, Jason, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hey, how's it going, Dr. Glidden?
Jason, come on. Give it to me straight. North Carolina or South Carolina? Which one's better?
North Carolina.
Exactly. Now, what part of the Carolina? What part of the state are you in?
Greensboro, North.
Yeah, I spent 9 of really happy months in my youth in Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I moved there in September. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine that was going to Duke University.
Uh-huh.
And I was knocking around doing odd jobs in North Carolina. And I moved there in September. It was a nice, really pretty autumn, and then winter lasted for like 4 weeks. And spring started, and sometime in late February, early March. Spring lasted for 3-4 months. It was the most beautiful spring I ever saw. But man, oh man, when summer hit.
Hey, come on back.
When summer hit, I had to leave, man. It was too hot. I couldn't handle it. We were, poor college students back in the day. Our cars didn't even have air conditioning.
Right.
So living in the Carolinas, living below the Mason-Dixon line without air conditioning, not everybody can do that.
But you could always go to Mississippi during the summer.
Oh my God! Just shoot me now. I know. Can you believe it? When I was there, man, I thought to myself, holy man, how could anybody just be there before air conditioning? It's really, really, really bad.
I'm telling you, they have some bad summers down there.
bad, man, bad. But, I guess their argument is, well, you have bad winters up there. But I tell you what, I'd rather be cold than hot. That's just me.
Me too. Especially if you're overweight and stuff, it's really that much worse,
Yeah, and especially if you were raised a damn Yankee like I was. So what are you going to do?
Well, my wife's from North Carolina. I moved up here with her. I'm from Mississippi, but
oh man, so
I come from the fried state,
So you're loving it.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, man, you're awesome. Thanks for the call. How can I help?
Well, I had talked to you a few weeks ago, and of course I'm type 2 diabetic. I weigh 350 pounds, and I had talked to you a few weeks ago, and I said that my legs were swelling, and I think you recommended some enzymes for that.
Yeah.
But what I didn't tell you, I forgot to tell you that I was diagnosed with, because I guess your legs can swell for different reasons, but I was diagnosed with venous insufficiency. I had the reddish, purplish, bluish feet and legs, And I was wondering, I didn't actually, my supplies come in today. But instead of getting the enzymes, I got the Ultimate Daily tablets I was getting those for circulation.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Another thing that you can do is get a copper bracelet and start to wear it, so that the copper in the bracelet is against your skin. Sometimes when they make a copper bracelet, they'll put brass on the inside of it, or aluminum or something on the inside of it. You want to make sure that the copper part of the bracelet is actually touching your skin. Because
in your arm?
Yeah, right around your wrist, like where you would watch, right?
Okay.
You get a nice, thick, manly, Viking-looking, copper bracelet, right? I'm not talking
where
like
do you get those at?
I don't know, man. Just go online. You can find them.
Okay.
Or I don't know if they ever have county fairs down where you live, but you can often pick them up there. But you need copper to support and promote healthy veins, specifically veins. Now, Youngevity's selenium has extra copper in it. And I would recommend that you add to your program 4 bottles of Youngevity's selenium a month, 4 bottles of Youngevity's selenium per month, in addition to what you're already doing now. And you may want to, for 3 days in a row, do the Suero Cleanse, Suero. It's a brand new thing in Youngevity. Check that out in about 4 weeks. Call me back with a report. I'll look forward. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, finishing out today's show. Remember, this is Cancer Awareness Month, real awareness about cancer, not just mainstream medical, Machiavellian, monopolistic, mediocre nonsense. This is real information about cancer, what's really going on here. We're pulling back the curtain. We're telling it like it is, which you would assume your healthcare practitioner would also do, but they don't. You're sold a false bill of goods often, or you're not even given the option. Oh, we've just diagnosed cancer, Mrs. Smith. We're going to start you tomorrow on chemo. And they don't even give you the choice. It's your body. It's not theirs. You need education. You need information. You need awareness. You need to know how effective their programs are. You need to know what the side effects are. You need to know how much they're going to cost. You need to know how much they're going to profit from it. You need to talk to people who've done their program and see how their life is. You need to know how their treatments are going to affect the quality of your life. You need to know a lot of things that they don't tell you. They're not forthcoming. Because quite frankly, if they told you all of the real true stuff about cancer treatment, you wouldn't do the cancer treatment. So, knowledge is power. A week from this coming Monday in a couple days, the 6th of October, breast cancer. The 13th of October, colon cancer. The 20th of October, prostate cancer. The 27th of October, lung cancer. Also, this month, it's Naturopathic Awareness Time. Naturopathic Awareness Time. So I am privileged to tell you we have so far dialed in an exclusive interview with Dr. Joseph Pizzorno, one of the main reasons, one of the people directly responsible for the resurgence of naturopathic medicine in the 20th and 21st centuries. Without Dr. Pizzorno, naturopathic medicine would not exist with the degree of political and professional acclaim that it enjoys right now. Dr. Pizzorno, a real mover and shaker in the world of naturopathic medicine. He will be my guest on the 23rd of October. The first president of the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians, Dr. James Sensenig, also an outspoken advocate of cancer treatment, a naturopathic cancer treatment, and has a really remarkable story to tell about the history of chemotherapy in the United States. He'll be my guest, God willing, and the creek don't rise, on October 22nd. David Schleich, PhD, the president of the National College of Naturopathic Medicine, will also be my guest sometime this month. We're still trying to dial in that date. And more people, more and more interviews are coming your way because this is necessary, useful, helpful information. And quite frankly, I'm quite surprised nobody before me has done this, but they haven't. So I've risen to the challenge, and I'm offering this radio program up as a clearinghouse of sorts of information that you need and that you can spread for free. I mean, every time we record a radio program, we also videocast it. And when we videocast it, we edit the program. And a couple of days after the edited program, after the program has aired live, the edited edition is available on my website for free. You don't have to be an insider. You don't have to be a subscriber. You don't even have to give me an email address to access my archived radio stuff on the website. It's there for everybody, and it's searchable, which is awesome. Why do we do that? Because somebody had to. My people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. Well, guess what? There's a new sheriff in town. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden, and I'm looking forward to pulling back the curtain more and more every day on how medicine is delivered here, not just in the U.S., but all around the world, and more importantly, give you information and insight about science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, which are available for you right here, right now. Worldwide health webinar live tonight, 8 o'clock Central Time. Migraines and generalized headache stuff and migraines. What to do to support and promote your body's ability to get on the other side of it. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Live long and prosper. See you tonight, 8 o'clock Central Time.